Good morning, wellness community. It's another week. I'm feeling a bit, with all these hot nights in Melbourne, I'm feeling a little bit tired today. So how's everyone else feeling on this lovely Monday? Another week ahead, some beautiful weather coming up. I hope everyone's staying cool. I'm Emily from All Things Divine. I love empowering people, or women especially, to step into their power through spiritual and personal development. I offer all sorts of goodies. I've got products and services, trainings, workshops, treatments, the vibrational sprays and oils and crystals and jewelry and all sorts of goodies. It's like a one-stop shop. But I thought that I would come on here today very quickly because I just wanted to share something that I was really, and I will continue to do this year because it's been quite challenging for me, is to talk about dropping expectations. It's kind of a topic that I've worked on for quite some time. However, it kind of leveled up last year. I felt like I was able to drop expectations for, other people and all that sort of stuff. But last year, when it was a little bit closer to home, and I was listening to my body and how it was reacting and why I was feeling disappointed or angry or frustrated. And, I'm a big advocate on reflection, inner self, self-inquiry, figuring out what makes everyone tick, what makes us explode, and what brings us peace. So last year I was feeling very, there was a lot of frustration, and along with everything else, there was a lot of self-doubt come in because, my treatment room was closed. And so there was a lot of frustration. So I just want to share with you a couple of things that I learnt about dropping expectation. So first things first was when I understood, when I connected with my body and got to the bottom of why I felt let down by certain people, or I felt rejected, unlovable, like all this negative stuff that, I've worked on for years and years, and it just kind of came back in a big kaboom last year. All these feelings was rising again, and I was like, what the hell is that? Luckily, I have an amazing spiritual teacher as well. So I was on the phone to her quite a lot last year, which I highly recommend, because even though we all have this wisdom, sometimes when we're caught in the crap, we can't see the forest for the trees. So we need, someone that we love and that we trust to come to us and go, blah, 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 blah. And you go, oh, shit. Yeah, I know that, but I'd forgotten it. So when I was feeling all those, those negative thoughts, feeling unlovable, feeling frustrated, feeling let down, feeling disrespected, all that sort of stuff, I had to, whenever you're feeling this, you have to look at yourself, which is very hard, because it's very easy to go, well, it's your fault. You treat me like shit, and you do this, and blah, 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 and they did this, and this situation, and the government, and blah, 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 blah. All that stuff. No. Bring it home. Always bring it home. This divine vessel that's carrying us, that's supporting us. So I had to get to the bottom of this. And so the specific person that I'm talking about was my son. And I sat with it and I realized, I was expecting him to validate me on some level. Now he's about to turn 19, so he's on a totally different, plain to me who's 45. He's out there, he's living life, he's doing, you know, it's all about him and his mates. So I had to remember to drop any expectation from him. If I messaged him, I had to stop expecting a message back. I had to stop expecting him to think of me first. I had to stop expecting him to show me that I was appreciated. I had to stop myself from expecting him to, you know, show me that I was worthy. So that was really hard because, you know, quite often we want external people or places or things or events to validate us. And I think sometimes when we do that, it's really nice, but it's actually the foundation of it has to come from us, ourselves. So when it doesn't come from an outside source, that we're still okay. So that was the first lesson, is getting to the crux. So I really understood that all my feelings of that frustration, of feeling, you know, used and abused and all that sort of stuff was because my expectation of him was not met. And that's not fair for him because he has no idea that I'm expecting this stuff from him, right? So he's got no idea that he's failing or succeeding on my expectations because they come from me. So I have to own that. We have to own that. Our expectations of others. We have to drop it. Or at least acknowledge it when things don't work our way, when we end up feeling frustrated or, you know, whatever. We have to go, okay, well, what was my expectation from this person? And that wasn't met. So, okay, I have to change that. So that was the first thing. And that was quite difficult. And I'm still kind of, you know, dealing with that every day. This is where that daily reflection and self-inquiry is so, so important. The second thing I learned was I understood my boundaries. So just because I had an expectation, so I'm going to use my son as the example. So because I had an expectation that I wanted him to respect me in certain ways, that doesn't mean that he gets to violate my boundaries. So I found the difference between the expectation and my boundaries. So I took my power back and I said to him, this is not good enough. You don't treat me like this. I'm worth more than that. I love you, but no. So just because people's expectations or you have expectations of other people doesn't mean that your boundaries don't get put in place. And that's up to you to decide where someone, you know, walks over your boundaries. So do you know what your boundaries are? And that was another really important one too. So all this time, so that was the second one. So the first one was, anyway, the second one was I got to learn where my boundaries are and what was acceptable for me, not him. The third one, and it was really funny because I saw this quote that said, don't expect you from anyone else. And that's so, so simple, but so profound, you know, because it was like, wow. Because quite often we expect people to act or react in a certain way that we might, that's acceptable for us and our reality. But we need to drop that expectation and understand that we're all in our own little bubbles with our own filters and our own lenses, our own experiences. And this is where you come back and you've got to drop that expectation. So don't expect you from anyone else. And again, your emotions will tell you So if you're feeling let down, or you're feeling hurt, or you're feeling whatever, sit and go, what was my expectation here? Because we have to remember that we cannot control other people's actions and reactions, but we can control how we perceive them and how we receive them. So that was really cool. So all this time, I was able to understand that when I put my expectations on someone else and they were not met, I was handing my power over. I was giving my power to my son. It was up to him to make me happy, to make me worthy, to make me feel loved, to make me, all those sort of things. And so when I realized that, I was like, oh my God, I haven't done that for such a long time. That realization was like, whoa, when did that happen? And I realized that it kind of, it was like that frog in the boiling water. It happens a little bit at a time, that you just adjust accordingly until you're sitting there boiling. And obviously I was feeling absolutely, out of it, horrible, useless. So when I realized that I was handing my power over to him to make me feel validated, it was like, whoa, okay. So I had to take that power back. I had to put my boundaries in place, and I had to communicate with him to go, no, man, that's not on. I'm not going to be treated like that. I'm not going to be talked to like that, or whatever it was. So it's really you having enough love for yourself to stand in your power, to take your power back, to know what your boundaries are, and to own your shit, which no one wants to do, really, right? But if you're on a personal and spiritual growth development, if you want to be a better person, that's the best thing you can do, is to look at that shadow side, look at where your downfalls are, so that you can put, some scaffolding in place and make it all amazing. And the other thing too was my expectation of myself. I had a massive expectation of myself. And so all those, that overwhelming of, I'm 45, I should be doing this, I should be doing that, I should have this, I should have that, I've got nothing to show, my self-talk went, ooh, which is awesome. I'm sure many of you kind of experienced that in the last couple of years. So I had to sit with myself and go, okay, I'm exactly where I am supposed to be in this lifetime, in this journey. I've had all these experiences, and whether they're shit or not, to be able to fill my toolbox for the bigger things that are coming. So I got that comparison. This is what that feels like. This is what that feels like. Oh, okay. So when I'm falling into, maybe some negative feelings, I can go, oh, I'm not going to go all the way to the end anymore. I'm going to catch myself first and go, hang on, step back, And again, it's that body. The body will tell you, whether it's through emotions, whether it's physically, whether you're exhausted. Like, why are you exhausted? What's the expectation of yourself? I've got to have a tidy house. I've got to do this. I've got to make, fresh food all the time. My kids have to be well educated and stimulated and all that sort of stuff. It's like, whoa. So when it hits you on a physical level, it's like, stop, slow down, slow down. And mentally, when you're in your head all the time, overthinking, overwhelmed, analyzing things, stop, because remember, your thoughts are just thoughts. You get to choose what your reality is going to be in how you act and react. Hi, Krista. Thanks for coming. So dropping that crazy expectation of being a superwoman, as a mum and as a businesswoman and a woman, a human, and just coming back home again and being compassionate, drop into that feminine, be kind, speak to yourself like you would your best friend. If your best friend came to you with advice, you wouldn't go, "You're an effing idiot. What are you doing? Overthinking. You should be owning 3 properties and all that sort of stuff." You wouldn't. So talk to yourself like you would your best friend. So yes, dropping expectations. And it was quite funny actually, because my mum rang me yesterday and her vocabulary was exactly what I was thinking 12 months ago. She was saying to me, "Well, you don't ever ring me. How does it feel when your kids don't ring you and let you know that you're loved and appreciated and blah, 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 blah." And I thought, oh my God, this is just a slap in my face going, "See, this is what it's like." So that was really, really interesting to have that put on me. And that's exactly where I was 12 months ago with my kids. So isn't it funny that the lessons that get shown to you, the messages, the messengers that get shown to you? So that was really interesting. So I had a conversation with my mum about dropping expectation. And it has been quite a prevalent theme with my clients. So those people that come in for healings and stuff like that, the agitation behind certain things, or the frustrations and people's self-talk. So it's like, okay, what's the foundation of that? Where is it coming from? Why are you expecting, your friend, family member to act like that when they've got no idea that you're expecting them to act like that? And so they're gonna disappoint you. And it's totally out of they're not doing it on purpose. So it's having that awareness that when someone's not living up to your expectation, that's on you. That's on us. It's not on that other person, because they've got no idea what's going on in your head, obviously. So coming back home and going, okay, that was my expectation of that. And it's the same sort of thing when I sat down and was writing all these notes. It's all these things that we have expectations every day. It's like, oh, we're going on a picnic with the family to the beach or whatever. And you idealize how that's going to pan out. We're going to have such a great time. We're going to sit and build sandcastles with the kids. We're going to frolic in those, in the rocks. Going to have an amazing time. And you've built up in your mind this amazing expectation of how the day is going to go. And so when you finally go to the beach and someone gets stung by a jellyfish and someone else is sunburnt and they're crying and crappy, you're just going to go, what the hell is this? This is not what I was wanting today. This is how I visualized it. So, yes, you can have expectations, or you can have an idea of how you want a day or a person to pan out. But in that, if it doesn't go according to your plan, you have to go, oh, okay, that's on me. You have to own that. It's not that person's fault that they're having a tanty and crying and you're going home 20 minutes after you've gotten to the beach. So yes, we can have the expectations. Yes, we can have the goals. We need to be flexible and we need to be understanding if things don't go to plan. Because we have to remember that the reality is in each second, each millisecond, we've got no idea what's going to happen when I walk out this door and finish this video. My expectation would be that, I'm going to go out, maybe have some brekkie, maybe listen to some music, but who knows? So dropping the expectation or being flexible with expectation. And yeah, it is really, 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 really difficult. Well, it was for me. It might be a piece of cake for you, but it was really difficult for me. And it's something that I'm consciously going to be aware of every single day. Well, when I say every day, that's my expectation this year. But being really aware of my body, my emotions, my feelings, and owning it. Why am I feeling frustrated? What was the expectation here, and what let me down? So yeah, it was such an amazing lesson that just kind of got pushed into my face. It must have been, I don't know, maybe May last year, where I just totally lost it, spiraled downwards. It was quite terrible, really, but that's what happens. And so taking your power back, take your power back. When we expect things, activities, people, places, things. Thank you, Simone. Yeah, when we expect the outside world to know what's going on in our minds, there's going to be some devastation, perhaps. So bring it back home, figure out why you're feeling let down, or why you're feeling unloved, or anything like that, and take your power back. Take action of it. If you're in the thick of it and you've just, all your wisdom's kind of blanketed at the moment, go and talk to a dear friend, someone that you love and trust, whether it is a counselor or a psychologist or a doctor or friend or family, whatever, and get some wisdom back into you, and just own that, your thoughts are just your thoughts. Your expectations are just expectations. And when we own it, when we know that we're pretty much the crux of that we can take some action then to go, oh, okay, yeah. It's nobody's job to make you feel happy. It's nobody's job to make you feel loved. Anything that comes from an outside source is beautiful. Like, it adds to your bucket. It does feel, but we can't rely on it. We can't expect it all the time. And I think I posted something in a group of my, when you're helping someone else, are you doing it because you want to? Or are you doing it because you're expecting something back? So look at that too. Are you praising someone because you want someone to validate you back? Or are you praising someone just because you love them and you just want them to know? So why are you doing things? Why are you feeling these things? What expectations haven't been met? And, and then adjust accordingly. Take the action to fill your own cup. And as I said, anything extra on top of that comes from an outside source is just beautiful. But it's, dropping the expectation. It takes your power back. Remember what your boundaries are. They're different to expectations. So yeah, I'd be really interested to see if anyone take just some time. When was the last time you felt frustrated? When was the last time you felt let down? And just have a think about, was there an external factor that contributed to that? Or was it what was your expectation on that external factor? Or was it yourself? Did you let yourself down? So yeah, I challenge you to spend, it doesn't have to be all day or whatever, just as you're drinking a cup of tea, when was the last time that you felt whatever, a negative emotion, so-called negative emotion, and bring it back home. And this is not about berating yourself and going, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. This is how we learn. This is how we learn about ourselves. This is how we learn about what our boundaries are, what we will put up with and what we won't put up with. Yeah. So this is where we take our power back to go, oh, okay, when we're aware, that self-inquiry, when we're aware of our triggers, our actions, how we react and act, we can then modify that so that we do become, you know, more peaceful. Because it's, you know, we don't want to blame and shame and make others feel guilty for, you know, our expectations that they have no idea about. So yeah, anyone want to share? That would be awesome. Because I'm sure we've all done it. And just, you know, maybe this week, just be aware of what your external expectations are or your internal expectations are of yourself. And, you know, are they valid? I mean, they're going to be valid, but, you know, take your power back and own that it was your thoughts, your expectations, and that these outside people, places or things or whatever, aren't out to hurt you or to point the finger or make you feel bad. I'm sure that they want the best for you as well. So it's just our perception of things, our expectations. So spend this week dropping the expectation, see how you go. And yeah, thanks so much. And I look forward to speaking to you next week. So have a great week. Keep cool. It's going to be a scorcher. So thank you. Sayonara.